Hey guys, this is our first recording of the Goldenrod Podcast. It's episode 1, and today we'll be doing a tier list of all of the Pokemon games ranked from A through F. So, here with me I have Deontay,
Yes.
I have Max,
Hello there.
I have Serena Central,
What's up, guys?
I have Skippy the Narwhal,
Hello.
and I have Agent 004 who isn't gonna be able to talk this episode.
We should explain exactly what we'll be doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll be ranking the tier lists from A through F, and we'll be discussing like why we put each one at the certain level. And then at the end we'll make a tier list of all the games with all of our opinions. And
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
Okay, so my tier list is currently on the screen. So I put Pokemon all of Generation 5 at the S tier. The reason for that is because I personally love the Gen 5 games. It's just they've always been my thing, and I played ridiculous amounts of them, and I just have a deep connection with it. I also put Pokemon Crystal because that game is amazing. Gen 2 did a good job, and Crystal improved on what the Gold and Silver were not. And Pokemon Emerald, I have a habit of putting the remakes on top of the
originals.
The originals, yeah. So it's just that I feel like they know what they did wrong and then they improve it. So for the A tier, I put Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Now this is a very controversial list because most people don't like a lot. I've heard that some people don't like those games, and I put them above the originals, which is a common theme in this. Just because I really like those games. I like the concept. I like the graphics. The one complaint I have about those games is the whole character customization nonsense. 'Cause I don't understand necessarily why they did that.
I guess I just wanted to be faithful to the originals.
Yeah,
Like,
Maybe.
Yeah.
Rick loves their
yeah, I
old
know.
games.
And they also, I read a comment. It was like, oh, they want to keep it. France is like known for its fashion, so they put it, which I don't necessarily agree with. But if they want to stay true to the originals, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So then I put Pokemon Platinum because that game was just excellent. I was considering putting it S tier, but I put it A tier just because I like all the rest of the games better. The distortion roll was cool. I like that whole concept, and then that whole Cyrus battle was difficult to say the least. Yeah, basically I really like those games. Then it's Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Those games were also very excellent games that improved on the originals. I really like the whole concept. It's Gold and Silver. What can I say? Now this is very controversial. I put Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon at A tier. So
Uh-oh.
yeah, so I think
No, I agree with
Yeah.
you actually. I really like
I
Ultra
do
Sun
too.
and Ultra Moon.
I really like Gen
Yeah.
7 whole. I feel like it's
Yeah.
extremely
I've never played the original Sun and Moon. I've played Ultra Sun, and I played that to death.
yeah.
gotta play the original.
I played the original and the remake, and I played Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, so I pretty much have an opinion on both.
Yeah, I also played
Yep.
both games, and I just felt like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon did a lot right. They fixed Hal as a character. They made him actually like obviously he was still not that hard, but he was a much better rival than he was in Sun and Moon. And the whole Ultra Necrozma concept, making Necrozma, and that whole battle was so difficult.
He had a really good battle theme as well. I really
Yeah.
like the Ultra Necrozma
Ultra
battle theme.
Necrozma forces you to bring a darker fairy type to that battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. If you didn't, you
I-
definitely lost.
I learned that the hard way when I was first playing through it.
I had a Zoroark on my team, so I was lucky. But
I had
Monkey Zoroark.
Yep.
So we go.
yeah, so basically, I felt like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was a great game. So next, for the B tier, there are a lot of games in this one. I put Sun and Moon. They were lacking in some aspects, but they did a lot right. The graphics, they improved upon what XY was by making a more realistic body type, because X and Y were like,
Yeah, those like chibi
Yeah.
models were so weird.
I know.
Like when I first played X and Y, I was like,
Normal.
why?
I mean, I was like okay with it because it was the first 3D game, but looking back on it, it's like
Yeah, and I like this is somebody who I'm somebody who didn't play X and Y when it first came out. I played it like a few years after it first came out, so it was weird to me. Like I played it after I played the Sun and Moon, like Ultra Sun, so like it was weird to me.
Yeah, it was a little weird. So that was it. They improved on it. So next, I put Fire Red, and changed Fire Red, and I put Leaf Green in the C tier. It's because I like Charizard better, and I was in between.
There you go.
It was like in between B and C, and I was like, I didn't know where to put it, so I put one game at B and one game at C.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah,
I understand. Venusaur is probably the worst Kanto starter evolution.
yeah, but
Oh,
people are
I
gonna
like
get mad
Bulbasaur,
at
like
that.
So ugly, bro.
Venusaur looks so weird. It's like a and like Pokemon Stadium doesn't do it justice. Like whenever it
Pokemon
attacks in Stadium, it like gives it bloodshot eyes, and it looks
Yeah.
like it's been.
But we're gonna get people
That's
mad
why I
at
always
that.
like
It's okay. It's
Black
okay.
Cricket Charizard in Stadium over Venusaur, and I still do it to this day. No Venusaur in Stadium. I'd rather use Victory though.
Yeah.
Yes. I've never chose Bulbasaur as a starter ever.
I have
No,
one.
I do.
no
I mean, hey,
games.
Blastoise is my favorite Pokemon, so whenever I'm playing through Kanto, I always choose Squirtle.
Yes.
Honestly, I like all three, but I usually stick with Blastoise. Honestly,
I usually stay with
Yes.
Charizard and Shiny Hunt it, which is always a pain. But you know,
Oh yeah,
I'm
soft
definitely a
resetting.
Charizard guy
Gotta love
too.
it.
exactly. Okay, so I discussed Sun and Moon, I discussed Fire Red and Leaf Green, and now my next one, Pokemon Yellow. This, wow, I like the anime a lot. I could say that. My Twitter handle is at AnyBookCentral.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yes.
so basing it off of that, it's basically like it's as similar as a game to playing as Ash. Besides Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which I haven't played. That's why it's in the haven't played category. So,
Nice.
so I thought it was a good game. You know, Gen 1 wasn't exactly the best graphically because they had a lot of glitches. And yeah, basically, I really like the Pikachu concept, and it could follow you. That was good.
Oh yeah, that
Pokemon,
inspired like
yeah.
Heart Gold and Soul
Yeah.
Silver, and everybody loved like following Pokemon on Heart Gold and Soul
Yeah.
Silver, and they eventually brought that back with Isle of Armor, and I'm
Isle of
actually
Armor.
surprised. I'm surprised that they didn't like brag about that when Isle of Armor was being like advertised and
Yeah.
like shown off, and it was
I
just,
think
it was
it's
a nice
ridiculous.
surprise.
It was a nice.
think
I'm
it's
glad they
ridiculous
did
how
it.
many people-
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous how many people like get mad over the Pokemon speed in it though.
It's
I mean,
like-
Yeah.
it's more
It's-
realistic because
yeah.
like they're based off of the speed stats of like
Yeah.
the actual Pokemon.
Correct.
except
It
for
just
like
gets way too
Vikavolt,
much hate.
who has like
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Oh wait, is
stats.
Vikavolt fast? I've never used
No,
Vikavolt.
its base stat is like 30 or 40.
Oh, I'm talking about like
40,
when it's
30.
following you. I know its base stat is
I'm
low.
pretty sure it's pretty fast.
But
I'm not
the
sure.
thing I find funny about Vikavolt is that it's like based off of like a jet,
Yeah.
and like it goes really slow.
I know, it's so funny.
it's
Hmm.
basically
In like in the
40,
anime,
30.
Sophocles' Vikavolt was pretty fast.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Why is Vikavolt in the game slower than
Oh yeah.
any other Pokemon?
Yeah, I don't get it. So next we have Ruby and Sapphire. They were great games. I put it 2 tiers below Emerald just because I like Rayquaza, and also I felt like all the added features in Emerald just made it such a good game. And yeah, even though I wasn't born when these games came out in 2002, I was born a year later. But
Yes. Same. I
yeah.
thought-
But I personally played these games and I enjoyed them, but I have no sentimental attachment. And that goes for my next choice, Gold and Silver. I also didn't have any sentimental attachment to them, but I really like the games. Like, going back and looking at them from a 2020 perspective, they aren't that good games now, obviously. But back then, I could see why they were so... There's just so much content. You go through Johto, you win the Pokemon League, and then you could go back to Kanto, win through the whole gyms, and then face Red. That's like a ridiculous amount of content in the game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like as
Do
you'll
you have,
see
like,
when I
battle-
present, like Crystal's my favorite. Like it's my favorite video game of all time. Like
Yeah.
I love those games to death.
Yeah. So now we go to the Seer tier, where I put Diamond and Pearl. There was a reason I put Diamond and Pearl down here. And do you know why? It's because of the stupid animation speed for the HP. Are you
dear
kidding
Lord.
me? The gameplay speed was so slow. They fixed it in Platinum a little bit, so that's
Yeah.
why it's a lot higher. But like, it was so slow progressing. There was this one
Yeah.
video on the internet of Blissey getting hit with the close combat by a Heracross. Took straight 30, like a minute or something, just to get the HP all the way down to 0.
Oh, yeah.
Super pain.
The
And
Elite
I-
Four was bad.
Yeah, the
going
Elite
through
4
that.
wasn't. But then
Bad.
Cynthia was,
Oh yeah.
my god. But Platinum
Cynthia.
Cynthia was a lot worse, I'm gonna be honest.
Mhm.
It's a bit worse. The Platinum Elite 4 overall was way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Aaron was always a joke, let's be honest.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
I still love that. they
and
had
then there's
that.
Flint with only 2 fire
yeah,
types.
I know.
Yeah, that's
the fire
crazy
types
to
also
me.
take it away, because they had 2 fire types, Infernape
Yeah,
and Rapidash.
And then, wow.
Wow, that's
I mean-
just...
And
Terrible.
Rapidash isn't even that good. To
Yeah,
begin
as a
with,
fire
so-
type.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
probably had to pick Infernape if you wanted a fire type.
Mhm.
And you needed one, probably, to get through, like, most of, like, the 8th gym and the first Elite Four member.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a grass gym?
Oh yeah, Gardenia. Good point.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna bring up
Gardenia, there
Gardenia,
you
but I was
go.
like, you could probably use a flying type for Gardenia.
Yeah,
Or like
you
a
have
flying
Star
type.
Raptor or
Yeah, yeah,
Starly,
yeah.
which you should have on your playthrough.
By now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best regional birds.
Yeah,
Yes.
Like
Close
my favorite
combat?
regional bird is like
Like stat
Fletchling,
wise too.
but
yeah.
like
Is
Staravia is a close, or like the whole Starly line
Yeah.
is my
and
second
it's
favorite.
cute.
Oh yeah,
They were my first games into the series. I have attachment to them. It's just I just didn't like them as much as I like Black and White,
Yeah.
and as Platinum.
hmm
And then Leaf Green, I explained before. D tier, X and Y, you know, they were disappointing with the XP share, man. Like, I was so hyped going into a 3D game with new 3D
Yeah.
sprites, and Yveltal is just so sick. I love it so
So
much.
dope.
And we went in thinking, oh, this is gonna be a great game. Then they add this XP share mechanic, and it's like
Oh
What?
god.
like
It's broken.
made the game so easy. I
Easy.
swept.
I mean,
the whole
couldn't you turn it off in X and Y though? I think
yeah,
in Sword
but
and
like
Shield,
if
like,
you,
Yeah.
I didn't turn it off the first time. I think I was how
I
old was
think
I
you
when it
were.
came out? 2013.
I think when
I was like 9 or 10 when it came out.
yeah, I was like 7 when
Yeah.
X and Y came out this year.
yeah, I was like
It was pretty.
8 when X and Y came out.
Yeah, so it wasn't really the best experience. They were the
Yeah,
games
yeah.
where I was the target demographic, and it
This
didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
live up to what exactly
I-
what I expected to as a difficult game. Like Black and White was difficult. I liked it. Junichi Masuda's response to this was like, "Oh, people don't have time," but no, kids want a challenge. They want to have like a good fight,
Really count.
Some.
grind. It's
Oh
fun.
my
X and
God.
Y just
That-
didn't give that.
Most of them at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, but you're not gonna like most kids aren't just gonna give up. Either way,
Yeah.
you sold the game. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Oh,
I soloed X and Y a long time ago.
I have it in my drawer still.
and that
I
reminded
had
me.
Sitting there.
Yeah, just
That
sitting.
reminded me-
Honestly,
That reminded me
Honestly-
something about like what Junichi Masuda said about Orast. Like people asked why Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was so easy, and he said like, "Oh, kids would rather play like a game on their iPad or something
Yeah,
like
I
that."
know.
And I hate that so
I
much.
just
didn't
being
like that
yourself down,
response.
you're
Their
yeah.
PR overall has just not been good. The
Yeah,
last 2 years. No offense, Game Freak, but like you need to step it up.
yeah.
stepped up a
And-
bit.
Cause like also with IGN, they told IGN there would be level scaling in the Isle of Armor. There was not.
I'm not sure. Did they tell them that? Because I know like IGN said that, but they might
IGN
have.
said that. I think they said that they said that some people from the Pokemon company told them that there would be level scaling.
Hold on, let me pull up the IGN article.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So I'll
There's
just continue with.
There's still one thing I
this
love about
as it
X and
pulls it
Y.
up.
It brought me to the Kalos Pokemon. That some of those are just great to appreciate.
Kalos Pokemon were pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll be honest. They
There
were
wasn't
pretty...
a lot.
I love
Was
myself
was
some
it there this
Golden
like review where they said that or?
I don't remember exactly. I just remember reading an article on it.
There were
Yeah,
the
yeah.
least amount of Pokemon that were in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
69
I think they were.
with a cool,
94, I think.
really cool.
Yeah, I loved the
Yeah.
my Pokemon.
Okay.
Well,
So
I mean,
confused.
didn't only
Anyway.
Sword and Shield only introduced like 80?
80.
Oh,
really?
And Sun and
84 or
Moon
something
also.
like that.
really.
Yeah.
Sun and Moon.
Sun and
Well,
Moon
Black and White
is like
introduced the
80.
most out of any game.
Yeah, like
Jesus
they introduced like
Christ.
150.
Which
Like,
I
Christ.
appreciated. You
So
know, Black
many.
and White, I liked the fact that we had only Pokemon from that
From-
region. And then
Yeah,
you
and-
get National Dex later. Like, that's
Yeah,
fine.
till after
yeah,
you beat the
and
game.
Black and White 2 did fix that. Like
Yeah.
they did put, which is also good.
Yeah,
But like,
I liked Elekid, Magmar, Elekid.
well, I mean, like
Magby,
I've never
and, like,
played
Gurgang.
the Gen 5 games,
Yeah.
but like, like
Yeah.
they're in the haven't played tier. I really
Yeah.
want to play those though.
I played them, so you know you had Elekid, Magby, Magnemite in Verbank City, all great Pokemon
City.
to take with you. So that's
Yeah.
why I also like Black 2 and White 2 so much.
Cool.
And
Anyways, moving
moving on to the haven't played tier, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I heard they were pretty good games, but the mechanics are pretty foreign to me.
They're
more of, like,
Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
Like
they're all
Nintendo.
right.
Go-esque. They're alright.
Yeah.
I've heard they're pretty alright games, you know?
They have
So-
a lot of aspects of Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I'm
And then
talking about-
finally-
Yeah.
Mm,
I put Sword and Shield. So, Sword and Shield, I'm probably gonna get them, probably. And like, you know, it's just that. There are a lot of complaints, but I have no opinion on them yet. And then the F tier, Red and Blue. Y'all are gonna hate me for this, Gen Warners.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what are you doing, bro?
I don't know.
I
Like,
agree
I-
on it.
I can just imagine an angry mob of 30-year-old men coming
Yeah.
to
Man.
attack
I
you in the
know.
comments.
That's true. But you know, they were so glitchy. Like,
Honestly, yeah. And like
It's
like
sometimes,
looking
whenever I
slow.
try to go back to it, they're not fun to play at all.
I know, I don't enjoy it that
The
much.
only
I
thing
get
I
it, it
think
was good
Red
for
and
its
Blue
time, but
did-
I'm just too young for that.
Like at the time, it was like revolutionary, but looking
Yeah.
back at it, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is
like,
this?
I also
What were you thinking?
wasn't even
I
near, yeah,
enjoyed this. I actually
but I wasn't born in '96
what?
or old enough to
Yeah.
play the games. So
Like I
No.
go back and emulate this, and I tried to play Red and Blue. It doesn't work.
it
just-
doesn't work.
I feel
Yeah.
like people that
I
defend
crumbled
those
within the
games are
first
either
minute.
just emotionally attached to them, which
Plus
is why
the
they
spike,
defend
so-
them in the
Same
first
thing
place.
about the same thing about like the original anime. It's once again like just not that good to go back.
Yeah, I mean,
I
the-
like
like-
I like the original anime. Personally.
Yeah, the original anime is way
Yeah,
more
yeah.
enjoyable as like just like
Yeah.
a way to pass the time than
Yeah.
the red and blue games.
Mhm.
I personally
games.
like that they were less sensitive in that because they made jokes. They made actual jokes
Yeah.
that I could enjoy. Now
That
they're
was
like
the
so
dialogue
sensitive.
in
What's-
Indigo was definitely the
Like
best
for
dialogue.
example, Ash made the OK sign, and they got. I think they're gonna ban it in Turkey because of that. Like what? Like
Wow.
yeah. Like it's getting bad in the Porygon episode.
Oh dear.
Tauros
Oh, God,
episode.
yeah.
AKA.
Yeah, they definitely messed up there. That is one of the most infamous
Yeah,
episodes of the
I was
anime.
just
Like
thinking
whenever there's like a fact video on the
Yeah.
anime,
Mhm.
I that always comes up.
100%. Okay.
Jinx, of course.
So
Okay.
that is
Yeah,
my
Jinx you
tier.
hear about a lot.
That is
the
my
gun
tier.
episode with the Safari Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you also
Yeah.
hear about the one with James and his blow up breasts.
Oh,
Oh
dear
my!
Lord,
I watched
yes.
that. I actually
Oh,
did.
you did? I couldn't bring myself to watch it. I'm scared
I
of
watched.
it.
I watched
It's
the-
good. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Yeah. Other
I
than
watched
that,
the
it was
Safari.
fine.
That was
the Jinx and the
a
whole
bit too
blackface
much.
thing.
oh
Yeah,
dear,
it's,
it's
that wasn't great.
yeah. Black Lives
I
I
Matter.
watched
by
the
the
Yeah.
way.
Horizon episode. I
Especially
mean,
now.
that's why a lot of people wouldn't know that Ash caught 30 Tauros back in the day.
Yeah, I know. I was confused.
Yeah,
I
I
was,
was
so confused
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I was younger. Like I was looking
When
for
I
the
was-
episode.
So when I was looking through the original series, I was like, how did Ash get all these Tauros?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
when-
right?
when-
I was confused.
when-
too.
You have to look
Yeah.
it up on the internet. The episode they did catch all 30 was.
Yeah, that reminds me of that one Aura Guardian video where he's like a top 10 or top 20
Oh,
of
yeah.
Ash's Pokemon, and all of them are just Tauros.
Tauros. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's
Okay,
my tier
anyway.
list.
Can I,
yeah,
can I
mean,
get
cool.
the next tier list one?
yeah, sure. But like we should still like debate on his, cause like
Yeah.
Just
yeah,
Okay,
but like
mine.
anyways, I think your tier list is actually pretty solid. Like the only thing I disagree with pretty much is the placement of Oras, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire. I did not really enjoy those, but again, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the original Hoenn games either. I don't know, just they just showed some like franchise fatigue to me.
Yeah.
Like, mm.
I feel
but other
like
than that, it was
I'm really
solid.
looking forward to the Sinnoh remake. So, does anybody have any other thoughts on my tier list?
I could
Uh,
question your
the main
placement
thing-
of the X and Y
Yeah.
The X and Y games,
Why is it so low? But,
because I had. It's based on my expectations of the game and how they met it. I had hugely high expectations of XY.
Yeah.
I didn't have
Right.
I didn't have expectations of black and white. I actually had some, but they far exceeded my expectations, in my personal opinion. Just X and
Okay.
Y just disappointed me so much, so I had to put them that low.
Yeah.
but can we all agree?
But the
We
Pokemon
love
designs were great.
Right.
Oh
We
well,
all
there's
can
there's Jacobs.
Hey Jacob.
Any
Well, he's
Any
not
other
in, but like, yeah, he
I
posts
think
his
a
tier
lot of
list.
us can agree. The Kalos Pokemon have a lot of cool designs, but the games have a lot
do.
of more to design. I think that's why the anime captured so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Okay, do
that's
you have
what
any other
happened with
thoughts
Generation 4.
and
The thing
potentials?
captured way
Yeah.
more.
Any final thoughts? Cause that
I mean, yeah, it looks good. I can just question your placement of Leaf Green with Fire Red because they're pretty much the same game. Like,
I
I
just wanted
understand
to
why.
put it like BC. I meant to put it in between,
Right.
but I didn't make it tier like. I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Mine are gonna be a bit controversial, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Hit
I'm
us with
just
it.
gonna
Aren't they?
start out
Aren't they
on the bottom. I actually did not F tier because, in my opinion, no Pokemon game is ever bad enough to get an F. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna start out. A couple of these are in stark contrast to any Poke Centrals right away. So in my D tier, I had Crystal, and the reason is
Oh.
a similar thing to the expectations. As far as Crystal, it really didn't add anything on to Gold and Silver except for like Suicune. And then again, you could
They
not
added the battle
actually-
tower. Like the battle tower is actually really important for like the
thing
game.
is, it already
Like
had
almost every
so
game
much
had a
more-
battle tower since then.
Yeah, and it did add that. You have the roaming legendaries that didn't change. You couldn't catch Lugia. You had to catch all the roaming legendaries to catch Ho-Oh. And it didn't really fix, at least in my opinion, many of Gold and Silver's problems. So I know that's kind of a hot take. A lot of people like Crystal, but I was not a super big fan.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's more or less a copy and paste, just with a little tweaks here and
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they made it Game Boy Color exclusive too.
Yeah.
They're not exclusively Game Boy Color, but I still love the Game Boy Colors. You know?
Next
Oh.
up, I have the third version, Pokemon Yellow. Now, this is a bit different for me because I played Pokemon Yellow before I got into the Pokemon anime. And I thought all the Pikachu love was ridiculous and I wanted to choose Charizard. So I was pretty young, but. And it just didn't
Hey, Jacob.
add much on to Red and Blue. I mean, gym leaders changed Pokemon, you got Team Rocket showed up, but other than that, I just didn't feel like it was great. Was pretty nice with the Pikachu, however, that was it. And I feel like that was a good concept. Yellow was right on the brink of moving up to the C tier, but I just felt like the rest of my stuff in the C tier were better. So,
Fair enough.
and then
Alright.
next up, I had Fire Red and Leaf Green. To me, these just a common theme with remakes is a lot of times, or at least this one in particular, didn't improve or add much new things to the original. It was just pretty basic like thing, and it modernized it a bit for the time.
Yeah.
But other than that, it just didn't change much. And I actually put it lower than the original simply because even though they're the same almost, this had more expectations, and it was the remake, but it didn't really get much better.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Moving on to my C tier, I have started out with Pokemon Red and Blue. These were the first games I played. I was like 5, and I played them on like the computer with like the save files. So
Ah,
kinda-
emulation. Gotta love it.
Emulation.
yeah,
Hmm.
it wasn't
Yeah.
even like an emulator, it's just like a website.
Oh, it's one of those emulator websites. Ooh, those
Yeah.
are sketchy. Those are really
Yeah.
sketchy.
Yeah.
I just download the emulators on my phone and play the game anyway.
Probably loaded your computer with viruses.
Probably.
Hey, still play it though.
I mean, yeah.
That's true. I like at the time it was my first Pokemon game, and I really hadn't had much exposure, so I liked it. And also, when you look at it for its time, it's like still like sold like crazy, and it really started the whole multi, like insanely profitable, huge company. And this was really what started it all. It had like some pretty major cons, like some pretty big glitches. and the
Missing
classic
no.
Viking type is too overpowered.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
it's
Yeah.
definitely
like
the
T-Rock.
biggest.
Alakazam.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't remind me.
Yeah,
Even Hypno was good enough to just be a surpassable Pokemon.
I know.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't have this specials, the normal special split, and also that
Oh.
Alakazam
Ma-
special thing. I mean, Alakazam's special attack and special defense were the same in Gen 1.
Yeah, that
So-
is.
And so
It was
Mewtwo,
extremely
Hypno,
bulky.
So
which means Hypno and Mewtwo's special defense were also free.
Yeah, and
special
the
attack.
lack of
Yes.
bug types. No dark type in Gen 1, remember that?
Yeah.
The bug
Yeah.
type moves.
The only
Soft.
good bug type. Well, I mean, yeah, there weren't really good bug type moves, but the only like good bug types were like Scyther and
Scyther.
Pidgeot.
Yeah, but Scyther
Pinsir.
didn't have many good moves, so that's also.
I know.
a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. That's what I was saying. That's what I said.
Pinsir was the better of the two at the time before.
Yeah.
okay. So next up, I have Diamond and Pearl, and for all like the love Gen 4 gets, when people like really start to think of it, Diamond and Pearl just was not very good.
Good.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
looking back in
The
retrospect,
original
'cause I played.
Platinum was really good, but it was
Diamond and
the
Pearl?
pretty bad pacing. A lot of HMs. They had like defog and stuff. The story
Default was.
not
Oh, yeah.
executed.
Defog was a gift from Satan.
Yeah. So
that was
annoying.
pretty.
Rock
And
Smash
Pokemon
becoming an
Gen
8
4?
was.
Yeah, the Pokemon were a bit underwhelming, and I feel like the reason Platinum was so good is it really fixed all Diamonds and Pearl's problems. But Diamond and Pearl had a lot of problems to begin.
Oh
with,
yeah.
so
Yes.
that was my last C tier. So moving into my B tier, I had Pokemon Gold and Silver. This was the second game I played on another sketchy emulator website.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah.
Gotta love them.
You're.
But this was,
Love-
especially for the time, just an insanely good expansion. You have 2 regions. It balanced the typing to counteract Psychic. We added Dark and
Psychic
Steel.
finally got some extra hits.
Yeah. And it had some more good new Pokemon. It added a lot of new concepts like genders, breeding, day and night cycles. Had a lot of
Yeah.
legendaries too.
It really did a lot for the series.
However, I don't like some things about it. For instance, roaming legendaries, literally the bane of my existence.
Yeah.
Roman legendaries
Oh,
are part
no.
pretty
One
much
of the
every
bad,
generation.
Yeah.
well, used to be mainstays that. Like
It was a
roaming
mainstay
legendaries
for
were used ever
generation
since
3
like
to
Gen
4.
6, like up to Gen 6, and then they just stopped with 7.
Yeah.
They didn't even use them in Gen. I don't remember. So
In Fire Red and Leaf Green, I believe the legendary dogs were, or they're not dogs, they're beasts.
Beast. Yeah, they were roaming legendaries, and
Yeah.
Fire Red.
if they used Roar, you pretty much couldn't catch them. Good.
Yeah, you had to like put him asleep with hypnosis and stuff.
Yeah.
Or just check the
chuck the
throat,
Master
chuck
Ball.
The Master ball immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bef-
Use like
Just
Cannon
wait.
Move.
Just hope to God if you don't put them to sleep that they don't use Roar.
Yeah.
If you
Or
use
just
they use
wait.
Roar, go for it.
Next up, I have Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. I actually kind of played the games linearly on yet another sketchy.
Yo.
But this was really just a great game, and it was actually like really hard. And there's a lot of challenge, and you get Groudon and Kyogre, we get some epic legendaries. We got some new water routes and stuff. It was really just well-rounded, all-around solid. There wasn't a lot of post-game content, and you could only get Deoxys by event. But other than that, I feel like it was just a really solid entry, and it was actually a very, very hard challenge for me at the time.
Mhm.
And then, this is interesting for my B tier. I have Gold and Silver and Ruby and Sapphire, and then Emerald and HDSS. So, I have them lower than the people. But Emerald was really better than Ruby and Sapphire. Just to me, it just didn't quite get the A tier nod, especially because the Battle Frontier. But when I played Emerald, you get the Rayquaza before the Pokemon League, and when you have like a level 70 Rayquaza, it was just a breeze.
Yeah, it's over for them.
Yeah.
Basically.
Bye, Wallace.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't really. There's another third version where they didn't really fix a lot of the problems, although they did add the Battle Frontier, so that really makes up for it. With the Battle Frontier.
Battlefront.
But-
Yeah,
Battlefront
but
two is
that's the
amazing.
one complaint that we have with ORAS, right? They didn't add the Battle Frontier.
Oh
Somehow.
god, yeah.
They said coming
Yeah.
soon. Haha.
Battle Frontier Project.
Yeah, it never
Yeah, no,
happened.
never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next, I got Heart Gold, Soul Silver. This game for me, I actually didn't play it right away. I only played it, I think, three or 4 years ago, and I played it on emulator because my DS broke. But
Oh.
for me, this was just ridiculously easy. I had like a 7x speed emulator, but I beat it Nuzlocke. I beat it Nuzlocke 3 Pokemon with Typhlosion in like 2 days, including catching all the legendaries, beating Red twice, the Elite Four twice. It was just Red was the only really hard one. I had to catch Mewtwo to beat him. But other than that, it was just
I mean, to be
Ridiculously.
fair, you had a 7x emulator. I
Yeah,
had to
that's-
play it
Yeah.
on a DS. So
yeah,
With the base
Yeah.
speed.
yeah, that really helped. But like, even though it's 7x faster, I really didn't beat it 7x faster because like there are some things that you like battles.
yeah,
and
Mhm.
doors.
you don't. You just want to experience it. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, but okay, so that's the end of my B tier. Moving up to my A tier. Let me find it. I have X and Y, which is also in stark contrast to Annie Folk Central.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yes.
didn't.
I love that.
Mm.
It definitely had some problems, and it definitely was way too easy. But just looking at the stuff it introduced, we got Mega Evolution, we got 3D, we got outfits, like just the graphics were just
Yes. Out.
so much better.
Yeah.
You know, I
Like,
agree
yeah,
with you on those. It's just Mega
No.
Evolution. I personally liked it better in ORAS, so that's why I put
Yeah.
it so low.
Mm.
We also have like Lubio City, like the coolest city in all of Pokemon.
Oh,
Don't
so cool.
Yeah, and
So
also,
cool.
like, sorry to interrupt you, but like, it's
Yeah.
it's we got a Mega Lucario in the beginning of those games. Like,
Beginning of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
was
they
overpowered.
They
literally
handed
That's
you like
all
a
it
that
Mega
took the game.
Charizard and a Mega
That's what-
Lucario.
That killed the
Mega
game.
Kanto starter and the Mega Lucario. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then if you did, you
Pokemon,
caught
too
another
early.
Pokemon that could Mega it somewhere through the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you didn't even
and,
use half the new Kalos Pokemon.
Mhm.
Okay.
and I actually thought it was a bit harder than most people. Like at the end, the Elite Four was pretty easy, but like, for example, my battle against Karina was probably the hardest battle I ever beat. Because of my starters and such,
Yeah.
I literally had to beat it with like a Pidgeotto with Sand Attack, Feather Dance, Gust, and Roost.
Oh, dear.
So, but like, my brother literally caught a Hon Edge and just swept it. So,
yeah.
but
Bro, Aegis Slash in that game was so broken.
So
Yes. Oh, my
Yeah.
dear lord.
Because its defense is 200 when you go into the stance change, the defensive one.
Yeah.
And then it has 200 attack when you go into the other form. So basically you have a Pokemon with 200 defense and 200 attack. Like that's why it's been banned from some tiers of competitive play. It's broken.
it's that
Yeah.
broken.
So good.
King Shield is
Next
just
up-
that good of a defensive move.
Yeah, King Shield definitely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
next up, I have Oras, which the main reason it's this high again is 3D and Mega Evolution. Like those are still. I actually played this before X and Y, but I really like that stuff. Just really helps it a lot.
Mhm.
And like soaring on Mega Latios or Latias, that was
That
just
was so cool.
I agree.
However, it was pretty ridiculously easy, and it did not upgrade a lot and didn't add like a lot of change the original much.
Mhm.
But the Delta episode, awesome. So
Basically.
next I have, yeah, what do you? I
Oh,
have
yeah,
Black and
sorry.
White.
Mhm.
Black and White, it almost made the S tier, but just didn't quite get it for me. It had the incredible story, a lot of new Pokemon. It set the stage for Black 2, White 2. And like the whole idea of imprisoning Pokemon in Pokeballs and stuff was really interesting concepts.
Right,
Why
yeah.
it didn't make why it didn't make the S tier was because it had such an involved story. It was a pretty linear game. You didn't have much openness or exploring. You were kind of just stuck on the set path.
Fair enough.
And
Mhm.
didn't make much post game. That's
Yeah.
kind of what kept.
I'll agree with that. I personally like the Cynthia battle. The whole Looker
Yeah,
mission was pretty
that's
cool. But like,
Yeah.
the reason I personally put it in the S tier is probably nostalgia and the fact that even though Alder wasn't difficult for most people, I could not win against him for some reason. I just couldn't. I never brought a rock type with me, so his Volcarona just swept my team. And his Bouffalon with head smash, I never
Yeah.
I usually use a lot of glass cannons, which I should define as Pokemon who have a high attack stat but
Attack
low
stat with-
bulky.
Mhm.
Low defense.
Yeah.
So
Low
I think his Bouffalon outsped and just killed like a lot of my just demolished my whole team. But for some
Yeah.
reason, Cynthia I just had an easy time with. Except for Platinum, I had an easy time in every other game,
Oh,
which is weird,
Yeah.
honestly.
My
he's like one of
last-
the hum-
Yeah, my last A tier game was Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I didn't feel like it quite lived up to Sun and Moon, simply because it didn't really. It was like the same region, you know. They just changed had a new story, even though like some of it was similar. But there was a new story, and like I
Yeah.
feel like at that time I was really hoping for like a Pokemon Z. So it kind of.
Yeah.
The Ultra Wormhole and Ultra Necrozma arc were really great though. So they had that going for it, but since the end of my A tier, moving on to the final tier, S tier, I had Platinum. And in my opinion, this is like up and away by far the best 3rd edition game. It's the first one to really go back and fix a lot of the issues. Because like I had Diamond and Pearl in my C tier, but this really it fixed a lot of the issues Diamond and Pearl had, and changed executed the story better, had better.
All right, so first I'm gonna start off with my haven't played tier because there are a couple I haven't played. I haven't played the entirety of Gen 5, although people are telling me it's really good, and it's I'm gonna get around to playing it someday. People are telling me to like emulate it, and I don't really like piracy, so yeah, piracy's bad. And the other games I haven't played are the original Sun and Moon. I have played Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, like Ultra Sun, but I've never played the original Sun and Moon. People tell me that people are telling me that pretty much Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were better, except Lucamine's was ruined in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But oh well. And then so we're gonna start off in the F tier. So the F tier, the only games I have are the original Red and Blue. I did not like Red and Blue. Whenever I go back to it, it's just so glitchy and it's so unbalanced. It's not fun to play at all. Like
Yeah.
I tried
Mhm.
Nuzlocking it and I just couldn't. I just stopped. Like it's just so it's just like slow and boring, and there's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to like the other games.
yeah. But so then that's all I have in my F tier. But like for my G tier, I have Pokemon Yellow. So Pokemon Yellow, it's all right. It's
Yeah.
better than Red and Blue. It improved some things, not very much. Like they didn't add any content in it all, except like Team Rocket is actual Team Rocket from the
Yeah.
anime, and
Yeah, I like
they changed the gym leaders Pokemon around a little bit. But other than that, it's basically, I mean, it added Pokemon following you around, which is good. But
So, always a
yeah.
good thing.
it's
Yep.
just either.
Okay, so next I have Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire on my D tier. So I never really was the biggest fan of the original Hoenn games, and this is just like the original Hoenn games, but like worse. Like they just removed so much, and they made it way easier, and it's just not fun to play either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And then next on my D tier I have X and Y. So X and Y
No.
but one of my friends actually had like 2 copies of X, so he gave me one, and he said, "Oh my gosh, this game is so good! Like it's like the best Pokemon game." So like, you know what? I'll try it. So I played it, and it was just so easy and so like boring and forgettable. Like I can't remember half of the events that happened. I can barely remember any of the gym leaders. Heck, I don't even remember the Elite Four except like maybe Diantha. Diantha was a pushover, honestly, and I had a team that was bad against grass types, and I still like destroyed them. It was not that fun of a game, and the post game isn't good either. Like
what's post game?
Nothing.
What-
The Luger
Like-
I didn't even know Zygarde existed until I read like a book or something. And then wait, what's this?
In the
There's
X1
the- I-
Pokemon, all I do is Shiny Hunt and the Friend Safari. That's about it.
Oh,
The
that's
Friend Safari was
definitely-
definitely
it
a
was
good
banging.
addition. I love the
Yeah.
Friend Safari.
It was alright, yeah. Like it definitely got me asking just like
For
random people.
Pokedex fillers, it was definitely a good idea.
Yeah. Alright, and that is all for my D tier. So for my C tier first, I have Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Okay, Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. They're okay. Like, they don't... It's a weird amalgamation of Pokemon Go and the mainline games, but they took away so much. Like yeah, the graphics look pretty. Like, it is a genuinely beautiful game, but there's just no challenge. Like, you just kind
Pretty sure the point was it would be easier.
Excuse me, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
The point was like it would be simpler.
Yeah.
Mm.
But like,
I
I mean, I get that some easy games can be fun. Like the Kirby games, for instance. Like Kirby games are easy and they're fun. They're just a relaxing time.
yeah.
But these are so easy to the point that they're not fun. Like you
yeah.
and I admit they do have a fun shiny hunting method. Like catch combos are actually kind of fun to do, and they're a fun way of hunting
Yeah.
shinies. But like other than that, it's pretty short. Like you can beat it in about like I don't know 15
Couple
hours.
days time.
Yeah.
That's why I try to catch less Pokemon, so my Pokemon don't end up. So,
Yeah, and like the battles, like there are very few battles. Like it's not, and then honestly, it's just basically a bare
Just-
bones, better looking version of Yellow.
yeah.
A different like view on Pokemon. It's just not.
Yeah.
good.
But anyways, next I have Diamond and Pearl. Next I have Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl, as fun as they were, I actually have nostalgia for these, but they're slow. They don't really have, and they also don't really have a good amount of Pokemon in their Pokedex. Like it's not diverse like as we said earlier with the fire types. There are only 2.
Yeah. Honestly,
Not
there are
that many
main
words.
complaints with this game that honestly took away from it. Like,
Yeah,
all of us
and
have
like
the same complaints.
yeah.
I
It
can
has
I'll
agree
a
the
probably
lot of-
story
time
is
to
a
play
little
more.
too short.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Too short.
yeah.
It had
But yeah,
nothing
overall,
too
it's just
interesting
kinda-
going on at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's short and long at the same time. Like it's slow, but like the story's short. It's so weird. Like and your walking speed in these games is also so like
Oh, it's a
really
pain.
slow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just kinda
compared
sitting there
to
holding a
Android
button.
games.
Like you could probably watch the entire B movie while walking up to Lake Verity. Like Jesus Christ. But yeah. Other than that, there are actually like a lot of people really like Diamond and Pearl. They have nostalgia for it. Like as you can see with the Sinnoh remakes. Although it is, I admittedly, they are admittedly annoying. Like when people are like, oh my gosh, I thought, like especially with like the Pokemon Unite reveal, they're like, oh my gosh, I thought it was gonna be Sinnoh remakes. Oh my god, where's my Sinnoh Game Freak?
Yeah.
Like it,
Yeah.
I'm starting.
It's funny seeing on Twitter just all the.
Yeah, and I wasn't even
Backlash.
mad because I knew Sinnoh wasn't coming. I knew there was gonna be no Sinnoh.
I just came in with low expectations, so I wouldn't
They
get.
really
Okay,
implied it was going to be a
bamboozled.
huge announcement.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be
They
some
hyped
mobile
it
game.
up a bit much.
Yeah, it's this Pokemon League of Legends. Like that's literally all it is.
Basically.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was
knew
thinking
there
when I
weren't
saw
gonna
it.
be any
And it's
remakes.
made by
Yeah.
like Unite's also made by like a horrible company. Like it's like the tech
Tencent.
division of China. Yeah, it's a tech division of China disguised as a company.
Basically.
Yeah, it's not good. And then yeah, that's pretty much all we had for Diamond and Pearl though. Next I have Ruby and Sapphire. So Ruby and Sapphire, I don't get why people like it so much. Like it's probably the most liked Pokemon game, but honestly, I don't see it. I think it is overrated. Like
Hot
It
take.
is a bit of-
like in the this is before Diamond and Pearl's physical special split, so like it's that really shows like that really shows in that game. Like the physical special split it just makes the game a pain sometimes. But yeah, I the story wasn't really that memorable either, and they could have done a lot better with like the rivals as well. Like they went from probably one of the best rival arcs in the series with Silver to one of the worst rivals and one of the most like forgettable blank rivals to like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, like-
I just felt like the sickness thing was a bit random.
yeah. And then yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for Ruby and Sapphire. It's like the mediocrest Pokemon game, I guess if I had
It's
to.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so then the last games on my C tier list are Sword and Shield. So I know this is kind of controversial because like Sword and Shield obviously had the national decks, but honestly, I had a really fun time with it. Sword and Shield, yeah, okay, so basically, I liked these games. They were fun. I do admit that they are short. Like you can beat them in like 10 hours. But like the new Pokemon that came, yeah, but like the new Pokemon that came in this generation were actually like I feel like they were really well designed. Like we have good ones like Orbeetle, Hatterene, Colossal, all of the
Yeah,
Yamper.
Inteleon. I'm sorry, I love Inteleon.
Oh no, Inteleon is my favorite starter.
Yeah.
Like the Sabaline is my favorite
Yeah.
starter line in that game. But it was short. The story wasn't that good. But I mean, they were enjoyable to play. Alright, moving up to B tier, we have Fire Red and Leaf Green. So Fire Red and Leaf Green, in my opinion, are the definitive Kanto experience, even though Kanto, in my opinion, is one of the most boring regions ever.
So bland.
Oh yeah,
It's
it's
true. It's true, but like you're gonna trigger so many people by saying that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because they're the originals, you get some back up.
Controversial taste.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's pretty much Gen 1, but without all of the dumb glitches and, like, you know, fine-tuned a little for a better playing experience.
Much needed.
I admittedly had a fun time playing these games. Like, they're all right. The next I have is Emerald. The only thing better about Emerald than Ruby and Sapphire is the Battle Frontier. Like, the Battle Frontier was a fun addition.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, like, it was great that they came back in like Platinum and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, but they kind of dropped it after, which is a shame. But I mean that's like I already said what I think about Emerald with Ruby and Sapphire.
Yep.
But anyways, moving up to A tier, we have Platinum. Platinum is very solid. It is one of the best Pokemon games. It improved pretty much everything that Diamond and Pearl had to offer. It's I mean. Yeah, it's good. The final games in my A tier are Gold and Silver. So Gold and Silver, admittedly, I am biased to because I started with these games like Gold was my first Pokemon game on 3DS, and yeah. But they added so much for the series: day-night cycles, breeding, genders, the Battle Frontier. It was so memorable. It had so much content. And it was cool to see it, like it was like a direct sequel to Red and Blue, so it was cool to see how things changed like 3 years later. Like some gym leaders, like Lieutenant Surge for instance, remain the same, while Koga advanced to an 4 member, and it's just really cool to see, like, you know, oh yeah, I remember them. See how they're doing 3 years later, like how they're doing now. And yeah, like I love these games so much that I actually bought a physical copy of Silver. Like I have a physical copy. I'm actually holding it right now. And a Game Boy. And I love these games so much. But then we're going to so now we're going up to S tier. We're starting. So we have Pokemon Crystal. Crystal. I love Crystal. I mean, all it pretty much did was add the Battle Tower, which is a good staple in like the Pokemon series. Like it has been like throughout the series ever since. But like again, I'm biased. But, like, it's pretty much, it's my favorite video game of all time, period. Like, I don't know. I'm probably just, like, nostalgia blind, but, like, yeah. And then next we have Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are really good. They are loaded with content. They're basically... They're kind of like Fire Red and Leaf Green, except executed way better. Like, like the graphics are better. The like they fixed a lot of the glitches that the original Gold and Silver had. But yeah, and it balanced it out a little. And yeah, final game in the S tier and in our in my whole tier list is Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I had a blast with these games. These are probably my second favorite Pokemon games.
100% agree with that.
They're my favorite.
It had some decent challenge. Ultra Necrozma. It had a pretty good soundtrack. Well. Like all of the Pokemon games pretty much have good soundtracks, but there was a good story in there too. like the whole I mean, yeah, pretty much all the story is good. I was gonna point out an example, but the whole story is an example pretty much. Like it's good, and the new Pokemon introduced were good too. And I really like the setting, Alola based off of Hawaii. It was a really nice and interesting new take on Pokemon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go.
I meant Hawaii. I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, so just quickly before I start ranking, these are the games I have not played, so I'm not going to give any ranking or anything. I hope to play in the future, and that would be the original Game Boy games and Sword and Shield. Yes, I have not had the time to play Sword and Shield. It's on my list, but I will get there.
Yeah, Sword and Shield are fun games, but you're not really missing anything.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing, off YouTube and off Twitter and all the platforms.
They're all right. They're decent.
Yeah. So in my D tier list, all right, here we go, guys. Sun and Moon. In my D tier list, because something about me not getting 8 badges doesn't seem like Pokemon to me. Doesn't seem right to me. The Hawaiian theme never.
The American theme.
No, I am a very patriotic person. Okay, but just something about I don't know. It just felt not like Pokemon. Felt like playing a different game, and but I did slightly enjoy the Necrozma and all the Ultra Beasts. That Z moves wasn't. I didn't like Z moves. I just felt like they should have stuck with Mega Evolution, but yeah, it's not my favorite games. As well as Ultra Sun and Moon, they are also on the D tier list for same reasons.
Yeah.
So my C tier list was the games I haven't played. So yeah, the Game Boy games that I hope to play. And for my B tier, I have Ruby and Sapphire. These were my first games of this series. Pretty good games. I love May and Wally as rivals, or not rivals, more as friend rivals.
I like their designs, but I don't really like them as rivals.
Oh yeah, Wally's hair. It was actually where I got my first shiny. I was fishing for a Whalmer, and then I got a tentacle of a different color. I killed it, by the way. I killed it. Never. Because it was green, and actually I was disgusted. I was like, why is it green? So, and then I searched it up after I had taken it out, and then it turns out it's shiny. I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
Man.
I know who
Classic blunder.
Damn it, 7-year-old me, man. Can't believe that. But yeah, Ruby and Sapphire B, my first games, a bit of emotional attachment, and I'll always have love for those games.
Yeah.
And then I have Black and White also in the B tier list. The story was amazing. N as a character was also pretty good. Loved what he brought to the series and the games. The Pokemon that were introduced, like somebody said earlier, the most that have been introduced into the series.
Yeah.
And the Elite Four I believe this is the first time you could go split like any way you want, right?
Yes, I
Yeah,
think
Like
so.
I
pick
think-
your typing. Who you
Yeah.
wanna?
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
not straight through. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a cool. All right, and then also to finish off my B tier list, I have the remakes of Ruby and Sapphire. Like somebody said before, I don't know who it was, but this is just another copy and paste. And I feel like the Delta episode was just. They should have just might as well made like Delta Emerald, like its own game.
Well, in
Although
my personal
I wasn't
opinion,
expecting that. Yeah, sorry, continue.
I'm gonna be personal. My personal opinion is that
Mhm.
to bring older fans back into a remake, they know the story, right? So I think
Yeah.
they have to add that just to
Mhm.
be like different, so the older fans will play it. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, just because part of the reason they make remakes is to bring the fans back into the series.
Yeah, I get
Like-
that you wouldn't like it necessarily because like you weren't into it at that time,
Mhm.
which is your opinion. That's perfectly fine.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, continue.
All right, and then so that
Yeah.
finishes up my B tier list. For my A, I have Black 2 and White 2. Pretty cool games. The legendary Pokemon were probably, I think, the best in the series. I don't know if you guys
Someone
agree with
agrees
that
with
or
me.
not.
Yeah, I agree. With you
Okay.
100%.
Kyurem, Zekrom, they're just so cool to look at. Like as a little kid, just looking at these, just battling them,
Yeah, I
I'm like,
know.
wow. It's,
Black Serum or White Serum is
Yeah.
Super sick.
yes.
I mean, I personally don't like their shinies, but them, they were good.
I personally prefer the Creation Trio. I think they're the best legendaries.
Yeah, that's true.
They're little gods. They're literal gods.
Correct. And then also have Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Yeah.
Again, games that are just emotionally that I have had a good time with as long as I can remember as a little kid. Just nostalgic and well, our rival, probably the best rival
Blue?
in the series. Yeah, Blue. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
think
I
Blue-
personally liked Charon and Bianca, but that's just my. Oh no, Hugh. Hugh was my favorite rival. I like Charon and Bianca too, but Hugh's story was excellent in my opinion.
Purloin, where's my Purloin?
Yeah.
Where's my Purloin?
Where's my system
Anyway,
for?
continue. Pokemon.
Also, I enjoyed the Sevi Island.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was really
It's
enjoyed
kind of
that.
like the game's version of the Orange Islands, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of. They didn't have pink Pokemon, but
Pokemon Emerald also in the A list because, well, I think Rayquaza is just the coolest Pokemon ever, legendary wise. The story about how Groudon and Kyogre battling it out, and then Team Aqua as the villains, who I think are the best villains in the game. And then just the surfing, all the surfing you have to do, I love that. I don't know if you guys like that, but just going
Yeah.
around surfing was pretty cool to me. The waterfall HM,
yeah.
and that comes to my S tier, which is Pokemon Y. Now
Wow.
hear me out. Pokemon Y, Pokemon Y, as a kid, just watching the trailer was like watching the reincarnation of I don't even know. It was amazing. Just 3D
Yeah, 3D
was-
was definitely.
was
Yeah.
definitely a game changer. One of the
It's so
stepping
cool.
stones
Yeah.
towards the new generations, and it just left a mark in me. And my favorite starter, Fennekin.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a pretty good game. The cities, the music. Oh, the music, the soundtracks
Yeah.
in these games. Like I remember going to
Yeah.
the first Gym Leader Viola, and then like listening to the sound of the game, the background, or I mean the soundtrack.
I love the
Yeah.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
The Diantha, although she was kind of
The theme is longer
She
than my
let
whole
down.
battle, bro.
yeah.
So I
saw
didn't get
that
to
with
listen
the-
to it.
Yeah. But yeah, other than the easiness of the game, I think it's pretty good. And then for
Yeah.
my favorite game, so my favorite games in the series are Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Something about the two regions, like, it's just amazing to me. The amount of time and effort you have to put into these games are also pretty big. I remember going out Mount Silver. It's Mount Silver, right?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
Red.
Yeah.
Just going up there. Like I didn't know about Red at the time, and then just seeing him up there, then battling. I believe I was only had 2 healthy Pokemon at the time.
Oof.
It was a tough time. The gym leaders that were introduced, or not introduced, but like the ghost gym leaders were the ghost gym leader, and all the other gym leaders were. I liked them a lot, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and the legendaries about the whole, the wing. Is it wait? Is it the? It's the wing, right? The rainbow
silver
wing.
Yeah.
or gold wing, or whatever.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty cool. And then yeah, that makes up my tier list.
Okay, I'm gonna start with my S tier. First thing is Pokemon Platinum. I think the story of Pokemon Platinum was like the best. It was the best story. Like I love Team Galactic. Team Galactic is my favorite, like evil team. Definitely. Like they're so mysterious, and like their plan is like really interesting. You know, it's never been
Yeah.
like something like that before. And I love the legendary. The legendaries were
Yeah.
all great. Especially Arceus. Arceus, I have to admit, I had to cheat to get Arceus.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Unless
I
you
cheated to
the-
get all the event Pokemon, the unobtainable ones. I cheated to get them all. Like Darkrai and Shaman. Yeah. I loved getting Darkrai. It was really interesting, you know, with the kid with the dreams and stuff. It was.
Yeah.
I love Darkrai.
Darkrai is a great.
Then we have X and Y. X and Y. I feel like X and Y is so underrated. I don't know why a lot of people hate it, but I absolutely love it. The Kalos region is one of my favorite regions, and the legendaries are okay. They're not the best. They're okay. Yeah.
They're not
It was really disappointing that we didn't get a Pokemon Z though. Feels like they could have added some improvements to the story.
Yep.
Maybe we can.
Yeah, and like AZ, his story was like really interesting.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that.
It was really sad that AZ's Floette was never
I
an
know.
obtainable Pokemon. though.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be, but sadly it wasn't. You could only hack it.
Hopefully it gets
Mhm.
handed out as an event.
Sometimes too.
With Kalos remakes in like 13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should do that.
Next to the A tier, sorry, you have Pearl, Diamond, and Pearl, which are they're like Platinum is really like the ending, like the distortion world, all that stuff. That was a great thing, you know. Like, Diamond and Pearl's ending was not as interesting, you know. Didn't have like that much going
I
on at the
agree.
end. I didn't like that at
Mhm.
all. Yeah. Then we got Black and White. I loved those. 1 and 2, they were both great.
I agree.
Team Plasma, N was awesome.
N was probably the best rival. Rival.
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has some great soundtracks.
I think the best. But you
And I
know,
love the legendaries. I know some people don't like the
I
legendaries,
love
but I
the
still think-
legendaries.
Mhm.
I'm a Zekrom
Yeah.
stan.
I'm not the biggest fan of Zekrom.
Then we move to the B tier. Now Gen 2, like the Gen 2 games, like and the remakes, I didn't like them that much. I didn't like Kanto in general. And Johto was okay, which is why it's I find it better than Gen 1, but it's still not as good. I feel like the story wasn't as interesting. But it wasn't feels like they left a lot, they just forgot a lot of things, like Team Rocket. Just forgot them almost at the end. Yeah. Then moving to the C tires, the same thing with Gen 2. Didn't like it that much. Emerald's not supposed to be here. Ignore that. At the D tier, we have the entire Gen 1 games and the remakes. Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I absolutely loved those. They were like simple, they were cool. They only required like one
Yeah.
Joy-Con to play, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The shiny hunting was really easy, like
Yeah.
almost too easy.
Yeah. Shiny hunting that game is fun, but honestly, I prefer the SOS method in
Alright.
or Summer games.
Stunning movement. Yeah.
Oh, SOS, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I like Dex Nav,
SOS.
but like that's my personal. Or chain fishing. Those were my favorites.
Okay. Yeah, the shiny hunting was like too easy. It didn't feel like that much of an accomplishment to get them. Like if you get every the lure, the full combo catch combo thing, you would have like a really high chance of getting a shiny, which is really easy. So okay, moving to Fire Red and Leaf Green, which were great remakes. Absolutely loved them. I loved all the Game Boy Advance Pokemon games. They were all great, but it's still Gen 1. I feel like Gen 1's story, like the old games, like they were so boring. Like, what was Team Rocket's plan? I still don't get that. What was their plan
I
exactly?
kind of want to
Take over the world, simple plan. It's boring, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit boring, but it was
Generic
Stop.
evil plan
Yeah.
for every pot.
I'll finish this, I guess. So, Red and Blue, I think probably continuing with the thing. Story was bland. Red, Blue, and Yellow, the story was bland.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's what her opinion was. I'm just reading off what her thoughts. And, you know,
Yeah.
that's probably why they're at the D tier. Never played because she's never played them, basically. Yeah, and yeah. Basically, that's her tier list.
She started off with a C tier instead of D or F. I don't think a Pokemon game that terrible. But I start off with Red, Blue, and Yellow. Continue the trend. They're honestly boring. I played Yellow before, but after playing any next was X and Y, it just compared to the previous generation, I just never felt the difficult.
Right.
Coming off of Black and White 2, especially facing Black Kyurem, White Kyurem, White 2, just the battles in X and Y just felt boring. I love the Kalos Pokemon, and I love the Shiny hunting, but that's really all I really love about X and Y.
Yeah.
And Diamond and Pearl's last C tier, just the lack of variety, the fact that you can't do much in Diamond and Pearl. Man. If you can't catch anything, you catch the same Pokemon pretty much. Everybody had the same Diamond and Pearl team. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure everybody Garchomp, the Lucario, and an Infernape with Black and Diamond and Pearl, along with Staraptor and just you use the same team in every playthrough.
Yeah.
It's whatever water type you prefer. That was the only difference in most teams, the water. Well, next, those were the last game in C tier. B tier, I start off with Ruby and Sapphire. The remakes to me were just a bit better. It's probably because 3D, but just I never really finished it, but I played it.
Yeah.
It just seemed like an average game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad, it was there. Next was Gold and Silver. I played Gold and Silver. They weren't bad, and never. Just unlike Crystal, which is higher. Just never. It just felt like Gen 1 with 100 more Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last is Let's Go. It's Kanto all over again for the third time.
Yeah.
Something with
I
game
feel like
freaking
you already
Kanto,
have
man.
to
Oh, why they like Kanto so much? It's so boring.
You mean
and
nostalgia?
I already feel
Maybe.
like the definitive remakes that
It's the
came
only
out
thing I could
14
think of.
years ago. Next, the A tier. Start off with the black and white. I actually like black and white. Only problem is that I
Yeah, me
like black
too.
and white.
Mhm.
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was next. I think about equally of both Sun and Moon and the Ultra games. It's just the story's a teensy bit different.
Yeah.
I actually get to face the island, face the fairy trial in the actual game. I remember the fairy trial in Sun and the original game. You didn't face it until post game, at least what I was. And shiny hunting was equal, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Sun and Moon was next, but I mean, I said what I had to say about both in one sentence.
Yeah.
Then Oris was the first. Well, not the first game I ever. It was the first Hoenn game I ever played. I played it after I played Emerald, but it
Yeah.
just seemed like it was a Sapphire copy and paste. Not bad though. I love myself my Mega Sceptile, and I was the first time I used Sceptile, and the first time I used Lantern. I never used Lantern since. Maybe I should do that again. But last is Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Never actually finished it. Played it. Mentally,
Wait, is this your S tier?
This is the 18.
now
Oh.
I just never finished it. But I like it though. Set within like the 8 badges I did finish. And now here's last but not least the S tier. Black and White 2. The first games I actually ever played, and it's
Bingo.
best story, my favorite story, one of them. Pretty much gave me everything I would anticipate. And that's what made X and Y so disappointing. The final battle in the battles in the Elite Four, the champion battle, and the battle against White Kieran or Black Kieran, depending on which game, so much more difficult than what X and Y gave. Next is Emerald. I'm actually playing through. I played through it. I didn't finish it. I just restarted playing through it, but like a week ago, using the emulator. And Emerald, cool game. Love the animated part. Battle Frontier. Emerald Claws, of course, is just the biggest,
Yeah.
the best legendary ever. Best legendary ever.
What's design wise?
Yeah.
I never really liked Rayquaza that much. I just don't get why everybody likes him. He's just like a giant snake.
I think that's why everybody likes him.
Yeah,
'cause he is
honestly, it's a giant
It's a
giant snake.
I mean, I don't see what's so appealing. It literally is just like a snake with a hexagon design.
I like its shiny
Yeah.
form personally.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah,
has a
but-
good shiny
Oh,
form. Like
yeah.
black shinies are always good,
Yeah.
but like
Black
It's
shinies
You guys
are.
know what Dragon Ball is?
Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
yeah, I know what Dragon Ball is.
Rainbow?
So you know, there's something called Shenron in it, and it kind of looks like a Rayquaza. And a lot.
They crazy. They crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Rayquaza is it's not just a giant snake. It's a cool giant snake.
It's a cool
Nah.
giant. Yeah.
I never really saw why people thought he was cool. He just kind of looks
So
weird.
what's your favorite legendary Pokemon then?
Mine's Suicune.
Suicune. Oh,
Well,
Suicune.
Let me
I mean, he's.
Rayquaza's
Con-
not my favorite legendary. He's one of my favorites. It's shiny. Shiny's awesome. But
Yeah.
next is Crystal. Pretty much updated Gold and Silver. I played it like 100 times.
Yep. Me.
Yeah.
Too much replay value.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I mean, when I'm probably gonna replay Crystal again.
Yeah, fair
next
enough.
is Fire Red and Leaf Green. I was starting to replay it last night before I went to sleep. It's the definitive Kanto remake. The Sevi Islands are probably the biggest reason why I like the game. It's just you get to catch more Pokemon. You're not.
I'm surprised this is the first time the Sevi Isles were brought up.
It was brought up once before, but
Was it when I wasn't here?
yeah.
Unlike in Let's Go, when you stuck
I
to
like the Sevi
all the
Islands.
Kanto Pokemon, you actually get to catch Johto Pokemon and Trey over Horn Pokemon. Wow. Not just sticking with Kanto throughout your entire run. Even though some of the Johto Pokemon they did put in the Sevi Islands suck, but that's beside. I still love that the Sevi Islands exist.
Yeah.
Next, I know this one is a big controversial. It's Sword and Shield.
Wow.
I love the challenge the game actually gave. I feel like it just took more time. You know, I beat it with it. I beat from batch 4 to 8 within 3 days. It felt like the champion battle was actually a champion battle that I had difficulty with. It's the first champion battle I had difficulty with. Since,
Stadium and everything.
yes, it was the first champion battle I had a problem with since Generation 5. And a lot of the Gen 8 Pokemon are really cool.
Yeah.
And I got to use Northburn for the first time, which I probably should go back to a Kalos game or go back to one of the Sun and Moon games. And then last is Platinum, just too much emotional attachment. I love Gen 4. Dominant Pro, though, they suck compared to Platinum. But
Wow.
Just like that.
That's a curveball.
But Platinum just had way more post-game content. We're just catching swarm Pokemon. I wasn't just catching swarm Pokemon like in Diamond and Pearl. I actually caught more Platinum's post-game than Diamond and Pearl. And then the variety of the Pokedex. They actually added every Sinnoh evolution. Platinum just had more content. And just the Pokedex was the Dex is the main reason why I like Platinum. The extension of 70 or new Pokemon, which extended to adding some of my favorites, notably Electivire and Gliscor, which was the first time I was able to use Gliscor. Wasn't post Generation 6.
Yeah.
Definite fun playing Platinum. Not as limited as Diamond and Pearl was. It's just faster.
I think it's been kind of a consensus opinion that Platinum is really good, but Diamond and Pearl are not.
Yeah, like that's been a recurring opinion throughout this whole
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. Like I may one day go back to Diamond and Pearl and try to play it, but it probably won't ever happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Alright, I've not played quite a few of them, so I haven't played Gen 6, Ruby and Sapphire, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Leaf Green or Fire Red, and Crystal. But I'll start off with these here. So I put Red and Blue and Gold and Silver. So I put Red and Blue there because of they're quite boring compared to all the new games and stuff.
Well, yeah, understandable.
We all agree
I also feel
with that,
We
right?
all agree
That
that Gen 1's bad, right?
the most
yeah.
bland, boring games in the series.
I mean, I actually really like the Kanto region. I just feel like they've never given it a good story. And I think,
Yeah, it lacks some
Anyway,
story point telling.
Gold and Silver, I feel like they're too similar to Kanto.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to disagree. They improved a lot on Kanto, and like they're not as glitchy, and they're way more interesting and immersive. But I respect your opinion.
I get what he's saying. They have kind of the same feel almost.
I
even
mean,
though they have
I understand that. I mean, yeah, the look of the games are the same. Like if you played both Gen 1 and Gold and Silver on a black and white Game Boy, they do look the same.
Yeah, I do think they're better than.
Oh yeah.
they're not my fault. For the C tier, I put yellow because I just feel it's a lot better than the first two.
Mhm.
Problem. This is probably just nostalgia. It was the first game I played. But, I mean, I don't think it's the best one, but that's just why I put it. It's not much. B tier, I put Pokemon Sword and Shield because I thought the graphics were really great, and I think people bit about this in the wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought they had an okay story. It's just I feel like from something new. I didn't think Rose was a great villain. That's just
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I don't understand his thought process.
yeah.
He's
Because
just insane.
really nice guy, and I know they did that with Lucy as well. But
I'm gonna save the world by ending it.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Nice.
I think the point was that he was clinically insane.
Yeah.
I've also put Diamond and Pearl in B tier because I thought they were okay. It was a bit slow, and I thought Cynthia was a really cool character. The gym leaders, but like you guys said earlier, the Pokedex was a bit limited. That's me for B tier. For A tier, I've put Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I also really enjoyed gym battles and this is the first home game I played, and well, it's not the only. Then I put Black and White. Then I put Emerald. I thought they were really cool, as well as the fact that I also really love the Battle Frontier. I think the anime kind of made me like it more than how good it actually is. But I put Sun and Moon. These were my second games that I've played, and I just remember playing cool with everyone. And I also really enjoyed the story, as well as the rival Hal, which I know a lot of people thought he wasn't development.
What was a good rival? I do like How.
Yeah.
How it is. Molasidas, I think.
Malasadas.
Malasadas, yeah.
Malasadas.
Yeah.
Big
Malasadas.
Malasadas.
The Malasadas powered him up. He became.
Yeah, that gave him his true form.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I also really like Lily, Lusamine, and Gladion. I thought that was a really good.
I like Gladion in the anime a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.